This is the thing with fatwas. Now that we're on here, because we're going to go into scholarly endorsement. You get fatwas. These guys, they translate and transport fatwas from Saudi Arabia to America. All right? The job as a student of knowledge is to take the knowledge that you learned and to come here, your people, study your people, do research, go back and consult with some of the scholars about your research, go back and do some, cleaning up, and then present that to your people. That's your job. Not translating and transporting fatwas that in many instances might be antiquated and may not even be applicable to the environment that you live in. Evidenced by some of the nonsense dealing with marriage that stem from translations of fatwas that have been translated. Like the fatwa from Sheikh bin Baz, rahimahullah ta'ala, that was translated by them with the marriage with the intention of divorce. Sheikh bin Baz gave that fatwa to a particular individual. They took the fatwa, translated it, and pushed it out into our communities, into African American communities. Because ain't nobody else buying that, marrying my daughter with the intention of divorcing her. No other community buying that. Not the Indo-Pak community, not the Arab community, not any other community. Ain't nobody letting you marry their daughter or their niece or their sister or their mother, marry her with the intention of divorce her. Meaning, I'm going to marry her. It's mut'ah without telling the person that they're going to be divorced. Sheikh Salih Fawzan, he said even if Sheikh bin Baz gave this fatwa, what Sheikh Salih Fawzan said, Sheikh bin Baz, when it was brought to his attention that people were abusing this fatwa, they didn't tell you that either. But they translated and transported the fatwa and pushed it into predominantly African American communities. So you have many of our daughters, many of our sisters, many of our mothers who were victims of being married with the intention of divorce. And let me show you what that looks like. That's me having to sit down with a woman, and in my mind, I don't really want to be married to her for a long period of time. I just want to have sex, allow sex, and then I'm out. But I don't tell her that. I make her believe that we're going to spend the rest of our lives together and we're going to Jannah together. And then I feed her all of this narrative about us going to Jannah together and fearing Allah together. And then we get married. And then 3 days after we get married, I decide, you know what, I'm out. And I leave. Yeah, many of the brothers from the UK, right? Many of the brothers from the UK, Salafi Publications and Company, you came to Masjid Rahmah conferences here in America, you married sisters in our communities, and then you went back to Birmingham, you went back to the UK, and you left these women here divorced. You understand? Women reaching out to Shadi Muhammad, am I still married? I married the brother from the UK. And then after the conference was over, I don't know where he is. I said, sister, you're divorced. He went back to the UK. They have this thing called marriage with the intention of divorce. Now, it's not misyar. Misyar is something else. Misyar is when two people agree that this is going to be the setup. This woman marries into it believing that she's going to be this man's wife and that they're going to go to Jannah together. You understand? This is not misyar. It's haram. Sheikh Salih Fawzan said it's haram. Even if Sheikh bin Baz gave the fatwa, it's haram. But where are these fatwas being pushed? In the African American community. These brothers, wallah al-azim, if these brothers are imams of your communities, then you need to work towards removing them from being the imams of your communities. If you saying for real, ahi, then you probably need to go back to sleep. This is real talk. I'm not sitting here wasting my time, man. You think I'm sitting here sweating, sitting here talking, losing my voice as I keep talking and making this stuff up? You gotta be kidding me, man. Real talk. It's not even mut'ah marriage, because at least in mut'ah, it's an agreement. You and the woman say, we're going to be married for 6 months. Once the 6-month period is over with, we're done. That's mut'ah. It's an agreement between you and the woman. Similar to misyar. Marriage with the intention of divorce is you have the intention to divorce her. You don't disclose that to her. You make her believe that you and her are going to ride off into the sunset and be married. Yeah. Right. And I translated a plethora of articles refuting that on Medina.com. And this is when Shadid Muhammad started to become a problem, because you're countering, right, this narrative that keeps African American Muslims in this place where they at. So these brothers, they get fatwas, and they translate and transport these fatwas from Saudi Arabia to America, not just to America, to African American Muslim communities, to further marginalize us and to keep us functioning at a very low level of consciousness while propping up unlearned individuals.